Warning. Due to being played on an emulator and just being, well, Harmony of Dissonance, this LP will contain multiple instances of background and foreground images that flash, flicker, or both, or are just incredibly bright and garish. I will try to give warning of the most egregious areas via the subtitles, but in case I slip, please be aware of the possibility if you are visually sensitive. Hey guys, Penadaily here, and welcome back to Let's Play Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. In the last episode, we beat the game and got the best ending. In this episode, we're going to get the worst ending, which, like the best ending, you need to be in Castle B. So you see, of course, we've got half of this map filled in. So this time, we're going to get the other half. We come this way, and as you can see, when we get in here, and this is all the same, well, mostly the same. Yeah, but damn, I am too late. Yeah, this is actually all the same. Nothing is going to change. So, yeah, weak threats from an unworthy opponent. Now, let's see here. What have I got equipped? Okay, let's move from these back to the leggings. Because, you know, to get the worst ending, you go into this fight, but you don't use, wear the bracelets. So this is going to get us quite a bit of, yeah, that will get us quite a bit of, damage on Maxim, and give us invincibility frames to boot. And you don't really need to worry too much about potions or, potions or, you know, mana prisms or anything like this. Ow, that clone attack is nasty. Right, let's just use a high potion. And another one. Yeah. So, keep fighting him. We got enough. Let's attack again. Let's just do this. I mean, it gets us a crap load of invincibility frames. We do a lot of damage to Maxim. Yeah. See, you can knock him out of that one at least. Whoops. Yeah. You know, let's, just for some fun, yeah, Turkey uses, 200 HP. And a high potion, because, you know, why not? And just keep whacking him, and he dies. Maxim, forgive me. You think I will lose? I, who wield the powers of Count Dracula? Maxim was stronger than you are. I don't believe that you could have taken all that he was. But if I die, he will perish as well. And the woman, too. So this is goodbye. With that cursed strength of yours, you'd better hunt down Dracula eternally. And we are back out as the castle once again flies off into the sky, and Juste is the sole survivor. Damn it all! Ultimately, I couldn't save Lydie or Maxim. All that remains to remember them by is this bracelet. I couldn't even protect those I love. I failed as a vampire hunter. What on earth should I do with myself now? Well, you could become an interior designer. Okay, so we will fast forward through the credits because we've seen it all before. That's the worst ending. It doesn't unlock anything. And, you know, you tend to be just very, very unhappy. But that's okay. So, now we're going to go for the mediocre ending. And unlike the worst and best endings, for this ending we need to be in Castle A. So, let's head back there. And yes, if you restart the game, you know, after beating it, you start at the save point you most recently saved at, but everything else, you know, your potions and everything are the same. You have used up any potions you used in the final battle. But given that the Dracula Wraith battle is the longest and hardest of the 3 fights, you really, I mean, who really cares, right? That's part of the reason I do that one first, because the other 2 aren't going to need nearly as much healing and recovery items. Ha! Just die. Seriously. Axe armors. Hate axe armors. So, now comes the fun part. Now if you check, we have 100% completion in Castle B. So now we get to try and get 100% map completion in Castle A. And I'll show that off here in a second. Yep, Gorgon. Only Gorgon in the place. Yep, if we go down there, that's where the final, the mediocre ending is. So we save. And we head down here. Jerk. Yep, drop down. It's much the same, except it's golden instead of blue. And, of course, yeah, anybody who's played Symphony of the Night knows this place. Okay, so now that we've filled in this side, we're going to do this. Down, up, jump, down, up, jump. Yeah. You have to do it twice. You know, do the double jump in the mid-air to get back up there. But that's how you fill this in. And of course, when you get too close, it automatically takes over. Stop! Juste, it's you. Lydie, are you alright? She's lost consciousness, but I think we've made it here in time. Maxim, you've still managed to hold on to your true self. Yes, by some means or another, but I've reached my limit. I beg you, take my life. What do you speak of? I can't hang on any longer. I can't fight the impulse. But I cannot take your life. Then I'll make you kill me. Defend yourself. And this is the same Maxim fight as before. I mean, Windcross might not be horrible to use either. Again, you know, with the clone, you've got to be sure to hit the right one. Because you can damage him, but only if you hit the right one. So just keep whacking him. There we go. Ow. And yeah, this is just, you know, let's just cheese. I mean, how many mana prisms do I have? Yeah, I still have a ton of mana prisms. And this way, you know, that attack of his doesn't really do anything to me. And we just keep thwacking him. And let's see. I got more mana prisms. We'll just keep at it. Oh wait, I've already beat him. Oh, no I didn't. I thought I had. I guess he's just stunned her on the ropes. Just keep going. Just keep on. You'll just keep damaging him. It's not really actually. It's not that damaging, but well, we beat him. Thank you, Juste, for I did truly desire to be felled by your hand. Maxim! I wanted to free you from your cursed fate. That's enough. There's no need to speak of anything else. Take care of Lydie, will you? Maxim! It looks like you're coming too. Have we been saved? Yes. Huh? Where's Maxim? Maxim is... Juste, it's alright. You don't have to say anything more. I have no idea about what happened between the two of you, but you mustn't blame yourself. Blaming yourself is the same as blaming him. Perhaps you're right. Indeed, Maxim would have agreed with you. At any rate, let's go home. We'll figure it all out after we've rested. That sounds good. Let's go home, lady. So, and then once again, yeah. We'll just fast forward through that. So, yeah, that's the mediocre ending, and that's the one that unlocks the boss rush mode. So, let's see here. We haven't been doing this very long. In fact, let's check out the boss rush mode. I'm going to do normal. There are, three difficulties, and they basically let you go through various sets of, what's the word I'm looking for? Boss monsters. I'm going to, you don't get a spell book, you just get a sub-weapon, and you get to kill your way through a boss gauntlet. I'm only going to go through normal because I'm really not that great at this. Hard is basically every boss monster in the game. So, if you were using sub-weapons to cheat, or sub-weapons spells to cheese things the way I did, you might find this a little difficult. If you fought the boss monsters quote-unquote legitimately the whole time, you might find this a lot easier than you think. So, just, it's the giant bat. We remember this guy. You might want to hit him with the cross. I like the ow. You also might want to not jump into him. And of course, we go through this set of arenas, and the whole thing is timed. So, the boss gauntlet is it. So, I guess while I'm doing this, since really none of this is something you haven't seen before, I guess we can just talk about, Aria as a whole. It's a fun game. I do enjoy it. And, let's see here, keep going. So, yeah, Aria as a whole. As I said, we beat the bat. That's always good. And of course you do get the recharge balls. So, you don't get access to your menu, so no healing items. It's not even like Aria's boss rush, where you do. And of course after every boss fight you get to refill on hearts. So, let's see. Alright, so of course, here is our next bit, the living armor. Yeah, even without magic, I think I'm fine. Just keep whacking him. When the sword goes up, back off, then back right in. Anyway, so, yeah, like I said, this game is definitely not as good as Aria. It has some design flaws. For one thing, I think it's way too easy to skip certain bosses completely. A lot of them are optional, and you beat them more for convenience. Or, of course, you want what they're guarding. You don't have to have Windbook to beat the game. So, or the bullet, or the steel tip, I mean. So you could easily beat both, or skip both Minotaur bosses. And in fact, one of the things is that those guys, people miss them, and often wind up not fighting them until much later in the game, at which point, of course, they are ridiculously easy to cheese. So, I'm not sure how I feel about that particular design element. But things I really liked about this game, well, I really, really like how it handled the light and dark world. I mean, Legend of Zelda, had that whole thing about supposedly how items change their shape in one world, and ow, well that was stupid. Just, yeah, get over it. There we go. Yeah, he dies a lot faster. We're at a pretty high level right now because of course we beat the game. Right, but anyway, so as I was saying, ow, jerk. As I was saying, Legend of Zelda talked about that whole thing with, shapes in one world affecting shapes in the other, but nothing really came of it for the most part except for the swamp dungeon. This one really does a lot more with it, and I like that. I think it makes things interesting. Oop. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I think it makes things a lot more interesting, and it makes for a really fun mechanic. The story, I mean, it's a Game Boy Metroidvania. The story is never going to be that deep or engaging, but I like Juste. I mean, he's a fun, hot-blooded Belmont as opposed to Alucard. He's, you know, the side quest is weird. I don't know why we're collecting furniture, but I don't think it's really a problem or anything. It's not a bad side quest, it's just a weird one. Okay, now I'm gonna start throwing out crosses just to try and make this go a bit faster. Mostly because this golem is always a pain. So, you know, this game has its flaws. Like I said, there's the design. The backtracking is probably worse in this game than it is in almost any other Metroidvania. I mean, Aria doesn't have nearly this. Aria doesn't have nearly this problem with backtracking. Yeah, there we go. So, you know, that's kind of a thing, and the dual world gameplay could get a little tedious at times, where, you know, you're just basically doing, you know, you're going to the same places with a different coat of paint and new enemies. But, you know, it still was at least very interesting to me. Let's see. The bosses are, I mean, the thing is, most people complain about this game being too easy. And it's definitely not a horribly difficult game. But as I've said, I think there is a place for easy games, and if you really want to make it harder on yourself, there's always various, you know, don't allow yourself to use magic. You know, the magic spells are part of the game breaker, so just, you know, don't get any spell books. You know, that'll make it that'll make it harder. Or, you know, don't let yourself use some of the better items. There are lots of ways to make the game harder if you feel the need to. So, honestly, I don't think this game being easy is really necessarily a demerit. I think that there's a place for easy games. That said, you know, it is very, very easy. And, you know, then of course there's the visual design of the game. Yeah. There's the visual design of the game. If on the easy mode he would have been the last boss. Like, I kind of like it, but I can see why they went for something different with Aria. It's a very baroque and very detailed thing, and it doesn't necessarily work very well on the GBA. You can see where this game really, really took a lot of cues from Symphony of the Night, because they were still really figuring out what worked. Okay, I don't know, I don't think I'm immune to curses this time. So, I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful than I was in the actual fight. So, just take it slow. Don't let this jerk land on me. Alright. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway, nope, not immune to curses. Jerk. So, right, I think this game's visual style is really a problem of it was really trying too hard to mimic a PS1 game with GBA hardware, and the GBA's, plus they really didn't put as much money into it as they probably should have, but one can understand why, given the previous game and the previous game's issues. So, ow, crap. Yeah, I hate this guy. So, I like a lot of the backgrounds. Yes, the game is kind of garish. And some of the backgrounds are just horrible. The final battle is just, honestly, literally, I would think it would probably be seizure-inducing. As is the area leading up to the first warp point. Most of the others are just maybe headache-inducing for most people, I think. That said, though, a lot of the areas, they're lushly detailed. You get the real sense of age and decay, and I like it. Some of the bosses, again, as I was saying, are, kind of silly. Basically, they are they're maybe a little boring, I guess. Like, this guy, he's a giant merman. He's a regular enemy with 2 extra attacks. And he's just not really that intimidating. I mean, he's easier with magic. But yeah, he's not only is he easy, he's not necessarily incredibly fun to fight. Ow. He's just very, very... Wow. I like how they all turned photo negative there for a second. That was cool. Yeah, so some of the bosses are a little uninspired, but some of them are really fun, and I sort of like the fact that every boss in this game has definite tells that you can learn pretty easily. I like the dash and the way the dash was integrated into the gameplay. I still want to know who... Somebody must have been on deadline when they came up with this, because really... but, still. What's really interesting is, of course, in the original Max Slimer fight, they didn't have, the platforms. You jerk. Screw it. Ugh. Yeah, I know. Especially being poisoned, I'm probably in some actual danger, but, whatever. Yeah, there he went yellow, which he didn't do in the original fight, which is nice. So, the music, of course, sadly the music is kind of not as good as it could be, for reasons we've talked about. But again, it's not horrible. I've heard worse. So, yeah, Aria is a better game, and I think it's visually prettier. It certainly has a cleaner look, which works a lot better with the small screen and low resolution of the Game Boy. And there he goes, boom. But this isn't a bad game, and I think it gets some undeserved hatred from people. Let's see, so what else? I mean, I like Castlevania games. Even though the story's not hugely a thing in each installment, I actually like the overall story of the... Really, guys, I don't know why you put all 3 of these into the normal part of the boss rush. I mean, just... seriously? But they did. Ow. Right, anyway. So, Aria is still my favorite. I like Soma Cruz. I think he's an interesting character. I think, having it turn out to, spoilers, you're playing as Dracula. Well, the reincarnation of Dracula the whole time was a really cool idea, and I think Lords of Shadow kind of tried to do it in a way that didn't work very well, but I won't talk too much about Lords of Shadow because that's not really a game I play. I'm a Metroidvania player, not a hack-and-slash God of War-esque Vania player. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm just saying it's not my kind of game, and that I felt some of the story was kind of done sillily. Then again, you know, this is a game where, you know, your words are as empty as your soul is mimetic, so... Anyway, so Legion doesn't appear to be moving too much, which is nice, so we'll just sort of hang out here. Ah, Legion, who is, of course, in part from Konami's love of self-reference, because the lasers are all Gradius lasers, and the core of Legion is in fact a Gradius monster called the Tentacle Golem. Yep. And this is our final boss. You can tell that it's the last one in the boss rush because the arena is different. Instead of it being the actual arena, it's this room with a giant ornate cross. In hard mode, you will go all the way up to Dracula, and you will fight Dracula Wraith here. I got 15 minutes and 24 seconds. It's a new record. So yeah, it's slightly better than last time. There we go. You have to press start to get out of that. And as you can see, the last time I beat it 15 minutes and 30 seconds. No, I'm not retrying that. So that's the boss rush mode and the sound mode. And there is a secret in boss rush mode. Hold on one second. I want to look something up here. So that was the boss rush mode. There's a secret in boss rush mode, but I'll talk a little more about that next time. There's also the sound mode. Unfortunately, there's no voice clips. It's all just music, and it's mostly area background music. You've heard all of these in the game, and they're not really that good. But you also get to hear extra stage music. This is the one that's good. Okay, actually it's kind of a crappy remix of Vampire Killer. That's just the death music. Okay, yep, there's really... Yeah, the sound mode in this game is really not that very good. So, next time, I will be back to show you the secret of boss rush mode and the game's other mode, because of course there is another mode. But as I said, we'll deal with that next time. So, thank you for joining me for this bonus episode, and I will see you again. Dang it. Alright, I will see you again. Have a great day.